Road Grader 12M3. Yeah, this one looks familiar, doesn't it? So, check this out. Yeah, I know. But when I left, I think it was last Thursday, he had lost power. This box was showing all red, and he was able to get the power back once that day. All he did was shut it down, put new cutting edge on for like 2 hours, turned it back on, everything's red. So my original thought was, okay, bad GPS board or bad backplane board not feeding power to the GPS board. But then, now, Saturday I believe he came out, he's out here working, he's got power. Today, all morning, he's got power. It's working. But he says there's definitely some issue because he's losing signal and stuff, but I can tell you I already know what that is. Let me show you. There it is. When you're 4.1 2013, yeah, you're gonna have GPS connection issues, but I have to try to simulate this losing power and going dead to try to fix this. Not sure how that's gonna go, but first things first, it's already running. Let's go ahead and let's update this firmware. Let's get out. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to power off and bring it back up. So one of my viewers gave me a tip. He said if it doesn't load programs on these older GX60 boxes, you got a whitelist, which is a McAfee program which blocks installs on these older boxes. And you know, I'm kind of newer generation, where the more GX55, these old GX60s are a little bit before my GPS technician experience, I guess. So let's just power it up and see what it does. But hey, I appreciate any insight. If you see something that I can do better or whatever, yeah, shoot me a text or a message. I appreciate it. So we'll actually go in here and disable that McAfee program. So that we can load programs. Which is weird because it took 3DMC, but it won't take True. Interesting. But anyway, we'll figure that out as we get to it. I'm curious to see if this thing goes. Taking a minute, isn't it? It's got that 30-second blackout. There we go. I saw it pop green. Yeah, see that? All red. And she's not firing up. Okay, alright, so we'll get into that issue in a minute. First, let's get in here. There's McAfee right there. Okay. I think I'm going to need my keyboard for this. Yeah. Alright, well, I hope that did it. So basically, you just go in and you bring up McAfee, solidifier command line, type in sadmin/disable, hit enter. We'll see if that worked. Let's see if it'll take programs now. Not responding. Removable disk not responding. Oh boy, blue screen of death. Alright, well, we'll try a reboot because I don't think it works unless you reboot. Let's see what happens. Alright, now let's give it a try. Well, it's not saying it's not working. So that's good news. I also don't see it loading. Give it a few minutes, I guess. Well, alright, D drive is not failing this time, but it's also not opening. Windows cannot access the specified device. Alright, let's bring up our screen, minimize that. Let's go back into program, McAfee, solidifier, command prompt. Let's try it one more time. Gotta spell it right. This keyboard, or this screen is so sensitive, it thinks you're hitting it twice. Alright, that looks good. Alright, let's try that again. Let's restart. See what happens. I decided to just hook it up to data cables in my computer. I got True on here. I'll be able to look through it. It will not disable McAfee for some reason. It will not read my USB. Alright, so a little update. This port does work. Interesting. So it is the GPS card. It is the main GPS card in there. I checked the oscillator values in True. on my computer. I'm just updating the flash firmware for the auxiliary because we're going to swap those cards. But I checked the oscillator value on both cards. The main has it's like a 4.0 something, very bad oscillator values. The auxiliary is 0.3, so it's still in perfect condition. We're going to swap those. I have to change the IP address of the auxiliary to the main and just swap them and see if that works. That should solve the issues with a 4.0. That's just saying that GPS board is shot. So once this is done uploading its flash, I'll run it and change the IP address. Again, these GPS cards had firmware of 4.1 and we're on 4.8. That firmware is from 2013. So, I mean, nobody ever took the time to do this, and this box definitely needed this kind of work done to it. So I just removed it, brought it into my truck where it's nice and cozy and toasty. Hooked up my data cables. Had to make a spring for my my 12-volt socket because I lost the spring for the fuse inside, so I just used a piece of wire and wrapped it and stuffed it down in there, and that worked. So I got power to the box, and you know, a little bit of headache here and there, but we're updating this box. We're getting this box good. We'll get those GPS cards, the good one in the right slot to read and work, and this one will have updated 3DMC for the GX60, updated firmware for the GPS card, and we'll test it, see what happens. Alright, so after firmware managing, I went into receiver managing. This operation returned because of timeout. Let me see if there's any life here. None. Interesting. Okay. So I've been having issues connecting to this auxiliary card anyway. It took like 3 attempts to connect in firmware managing, but firmware loading, but now my Topcon program is kind of like frozen in time here. Ugliness. Alright, I'll have to power down and restart True and try to connect again. Alright, we'll try this again after I successfully loaded new firmware into the aux GPS board, so this is exactly what it did before too. Let's see if it actually connects this time. Yes, alright, good. Alright, so let's go into status. Oh. Okay, good Lord. There's the oscillator values for it, 0.2. I mean, that's good. Negative 0.2. And that's really good. Let's get out of there. Let's go to information. Yep, the 4.8 D5 2020 is in there. So, awesome. Now we just need to go in and change the IP address. Should be under network. There it is. So it was addressed 101. So interesting. So we're going to assign this 100, and 100 is the IP address for main board that we use, and hit OK. So this is now our new main board. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to close and disconnect device. We'll get out of True and exit program, and I'm going to physically swap those boards now. I might just completely remove the auxiliary, well, the main board, which is now the auxiliary, instead of going through and trying to change the IP address on that one. It's just a bad card. So we'll just for your reference, in order to test the oscillator values, the GPS cards, you have to have an antenna, GPS antenna connected. I am going to go in and just change the main board IP address. Receiver managing, connect. We can uncheck secondary because we're connecting to the main board, and connect. We'll go in and change the main board IP address to what should be 101. There we go. And we'll hit OK. So that is now 101. That is now the auxiliary board. Alright, so I'm just going to leave it in the box. And now we can power down and swap the cards. And alright, and there we go. We got it open. So that one is the main, which we'll put back on the auxiliary. That one is the auxiliary, which we'll put back on the auxiliary. We just need, looks like a star. Yeah, it's a star. We'll just take these 4 screws out right here. We'll pull, bottom one is main, top one is auxiliary. So we'll pull it out and reconnect this wire back there to, we'll put this slot in there, the auxiliary in the main slot. Don't forget to put notes on it. So I wrote on that one, old main, bad, had a 4.0 oscillation value. It is now a .101, and I changed this 11/8/21, which is today, and this is now the .100. And that's what the auxiliary looks like. There's no wires attached to that one, but there is a wire attached to the main, so you'll have to just knock that off, and we'll just put it on the new main. Slide them in. Wow, look at that. You see that? Look at that. Jeez, I wonder why that's bad. Ooh. I don't know if that's corrosion or just... Ooh, that's bad. Wow. Do you see those white slots? Those 2 white slots right there? Look at the lower one. That's where the main was. Interesting. I gotta take a photo of that. Alright, so I took the main board off and need to get a closer look at this. I'm gonna take the back plane board off here. I think I'm gonna swap these around because, ooh, that is gooey. I can't tell if that's dielectric or just nastiness. But I'm gonna swap them around. We'll put the good one in the main. That's probably why it was losing connection right there. Most of the problem. There we go. I just moved that nasty extender down to where the auxiliary board is going to be, and the good one up where the main board is going to be. So, I mean, we're not using the auxiliary board. We're using the main, so that's probably the issue right there, besides that card having a bad oscillator value, which could be caused by that lack of connection. Whatever somebody did, it looks like dielectric gel that just turned nasty. So let's put this back together. Can you see the difference between these two? Look at that center pin. This was the main, the original main. While I'm in here, I'm just going to swap them because this is the good piece, the good jack. So, yep, we'll do that. Alright, we are ready to put our GPS cards back in, and if you remember, we labeled them, so we know exactly, no mistaking which one goes where. If you didn't label them, you could have gotten confused easily. So we need to connect this bottom little white tab right here with this white cable, and connected, and insert nice and gently. Make sure that white cable doesn't catch on anything. Give it a little push down in. Good. This one is the main. This one goes right there. This one is the auxiliary. This one can go right there. And I'll have to put a little zip tie on it. Don't forget to reconnect your radio. Alright. Put a little zip tie and maybe a little piece of tape. And just double check everything is reconnected where it should be. Cables are tight, in place, all the screws are in, and then you can put it back in its cover. Okay, now we just need to reassemble and give it a test. Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Let's see if the lights come on. Well, sensor's good. Controller's good. Okay, we're chirping on main. All right. Yep, chirping on main, good. Awesome. Alright. Come on, 3DMC. Fire up. Probably gonna need to start this when it's integrated. Look at that. Sensors already. Bam. Bam. Look at how fast that was. Huh? That's what it needed right there. For some reason that main board was just funky, messy for some reason. Let's make sure update's in there, so that's good. And if I remember correctly, we did update this 3DMC, which is a little slow. Yep. Okay. Wow, that was so fast. Let's restart. Bam. Bang. Look at that. Nice. That was pretty quick for an old GX60. Let's go again. Bam. Beautiful. I think we got the issue. Alright, I do believe we got it. Green on CAN, green on sensors, green on controller, chirping on the main. Everything is snug. Beautiful. The only thing we can do is let them go out and run it and see if it corrects the issue. And I'm pretty sure we got this one. This one can go back to work. Yeah.